Righty. Welcome to another episode of the Franchise Academy. My name is Tom Scarta, and I am a franchise consultant by day and a podcast host, I guess, by night. and I am the author of Franchise Savvy, #1 bestseller, which is my stories on success in franchising and also a miserable failure that I had. And in addition, I just released a online training course on how to buy a franchise, the A to Z's and everything that you need to know to buy a franchise. So check that out at thefranchiseacademy.com. And to that end, one of the main things that you need to know when you're starting a business, franchised or not, is that you need a corporation. Sometimes they call it an entity. And there are several types of entities that you can have. So I'm bringing on the foremost national expert in this topic. Her name is Nellie Alkalp. I don't want to get it wrong. So Nellie Alkalp. Nellie, you are the CEO and the founder or co-founder, I don't want to cut out your husband, of the great company CorpNet.com. Welcome to the Franchise Academy.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Now, this is so great. People, I always share with my franchise candidates who are looking to buy a franchise that if they don't have a business, they're losing money. They're literally losing money. And they're like, what do you mean? And the way I explain it, because, I'm not a numbers guy, but I just say, like, you have to understand the tax code is built to help business owners save money so they can hire more people who pay a lot of taxes.
Yes.
So a business is a tax shelter. So tell us a little bit about CorpNet and how you help business owners.
Thank you so much. So here at CorpNet, our mission is to educate, inspire, and really support business professionals, business owners, accountants, CPAs, franchisors, franchisees, when it comes to starting a business entity, expanding a business entity. And we do that by offering the most comprehensive, cost-effective services. When it comes to, forming a corporation or an LLC in any of the 50 states, how to keep that corporation or LLC active and in compliance throughout the lifetime of that corporation or LLC, and then also supporting business owners and professionals with expanding their business in other states. An area that we're very, very confident in assisting our clients is when a business owner decides to become a franchisee, or if a business owner wants to franchise their business. And we're very, very capable of assisting with all the legal filings required to make sure that franchisor or franchisee gets started on the right foot with all their T's crossed and their I's dotted, as you say.
Well, no, that's awesome. And so I didn't realize that there was so much involved in the franchisor or the franchise company side in regard to entities. And what does that involve? Like, don't they just set up like one corporation, or is it more technical than that?
It depends. It depends. Generally speaking, yes. Franchisors would, set up one corporation. However, some others can can set up multiple corporations. They can have a parent company as a holding company with subsidiaries underneath them. All in all, whether, we're assisting on the franchisor side or the franchisee side, we've set up a system where we've streamlined the business filings process. So when it comes to any business owner wanting to purchase a franchise and become a franchisee, we can act as a trusted advisor when it comes to getting their entity formed and keeping that entity in compliance for them.
So for a new business owner, is it important to start with one of these kind of entities?
Tom, I think, in light of how simple and cost effective it is these days to set up a corporation or an LLC, I think if a business owner has a ton of assets, even if they own a home or a car or have a savings or requirement, a retirement account, I think it would be very prudent of them to place their business into some sort of a formal legal business entity, such as a corporation or an LLC, to protect themselves from liability. Because ultimately, what that corporation or LLC is creating for them is a corporate shield. And potentially, it can act as a tax shelter and provide them with more tax savings as well.
Yeah, and that's huge. So you're protecting your personal assets from your business assets. So God forbid something went south in the business, somebody couldn't really sue you personally. They're suing the corporation.
That is correct. Yeah, you've got it down.
That's like the number one thing.
Yes. So in essence, one of the main benefits of setting up a corporation or an LLC is liability protection and asset protection, because as a corporation or an LLC, it's its own natural business entity. So when the business is formed as a corporation or an LLC, the business owners are shareholders of that corporation, or in the form of an LLC, they're called members of that LLC. By placing that business into a formal business structure, the owners of that business are now shielded from any type of personal liability. And God forbid, if there is a lawsuit and a judgment is entered against that corporation or an LLC, the person who's winning that lawsuit cannot go after the owners of that corporation or the members of that LLC personally, as long as the corporation or LLC is being conducted legally and in accordance to state law and in compliance with state law. Then they can only go after, in essence, what is left in the corporation or LLC as far as assets or funds.
Very clear. So the thing that I think for someone listening to this now who has not really started a business before, essentially what you're saying is like, all right, I want to buy McDonald's. So instead of the McDonald's being in my name, it's going to be an LLC name or a corporation name. So you could make that up, right? The way it works is I think you give, 3 or 4 choices of a name, and then the state runs it to see what's available. You get your first choice that's available. And so it would be, it could be anything, the lampshade, LLC DBA doing business as McDonald's.
Absolutely. So very many different ways of how you can pick a name. But if I'm hearing you correctly, the steps to forming a business entity it really does start with that name, because as a business owner, that's the most exciting part of starting a business, is choosing that name. Generally speaking, if you're a franchisee trying to form a business entity, you would have to check with the franchising company to make sure, if there's certain rules and ramifications that they have to abide by. But typically, yes, the first step is to making sure that name is available within the state that you want to form that business entity within. And then depending on the franchisor's requirements for that franchisee, typically, they'll opt for an S corporation or an LLC, depending on the franchisee's situation as it comes to tax savings. Generally speaking, most small business owners, when they're purchasing a franchise, they opt for the S corporation or the LLC, just because as a C corp, you're, subjecting yourself to double taxation. So as an S corp, as long as the shareholders of that, new franchise qualify, they can opt to be an S corporation to avoid double taxation. And in addition, they can put themselves as shareholders of the corporation to receive a paycheck from the corporation. Now, let's say that business owner who's buying that franchise really doesn't want to deal with corporate formalities. They would opt then in forming an LLC. The LLC will provide them with that liability and asset protection without all the corporate formalities that often are associated with running your business as a corporation or an S corporation. Now, as I mentioned to you, we can sit here and talk literally 1 hour about the different types of business entities. All in all, really what needs to happen is first, you want to make sure when you're ready to form a business entity, you want to make sure you have that name, it's available within your state. You want to pick the type of entity which is really going to give you maximized tax benefits. Once you've decided on that, you want to draft the formation documents and file them with the Secretary of State's office in your state. Once they're formed, then you want to apply for a tax ID number. That's the way really where the IRS will identify that business's transactions for tax purposes. After that, you want to open up the corporate bank account. If the franchisor company that has sold this franchise to you has specific disclosure documents that you need to abide by, we can also assist with that. So those are all the things that a reputable company such as our company, CorpNet, can assist a franchisee with. And we deal with a ton of franchise companies. We deal with a ton of franchise consultants that are really using us as their go-between to act as a trusted resource for their clients when it comes to getting all their business filing documents, set up so that it's done correctly and accurately. Because once it's done, then everything else kind of follows like a domino effect.
Absolutely. And every state is a little bit different, and you have
Correct.
expertise in every single state.
Yes.
And that's important to understand.
Correct.
Also, the thing I think that people often miss is the reason. So the main reason is to have an LLC or a corporation is to separate your personal and your business finances. But
Right.
also is that tax savings is a big deal. And kind of the way...
I think it really depends on that particular business owner's tax situation. Personally, for me, I live in California, so no matter what I do and what type of entity I form, I'm hit hard with taxes in California. So, every situation is different. Generally speaking, I would say that, as a business owner, you want to opt for a corporation or an LLC because there's so many other advantages in addition to the tax savings that come along with it. Again, first and foremost, personal liability protection, asset protection, added credibility. As a corporation or LLC, clients are more apt to want to do business with you. They look at that business as a solid business entity. They look at that business as a business that has taken the necessary steps to legitimize themselves as a business. So they're more likely to want to do business with you. In addition, as a corporation or an LLC, the corporation or LLC itself can start applying for funding and business credit. So tons of added benefits when it comes to, setting a business up as a corporation or an LLC. In addition, privacy is huge. As a corporation or an LLC, you're adding that added layer of privacy where, people are not, coming to your house and trying to serve you with legal documents, because as a corporation or an LLC, you can designate what is called a registered agent for a service of process, so that if there are legal documents that need to be served upon the corporation. They can serve that registered agent for the corporation.
That's amazing. I didn't even know that part. That's great. But is it, correct me if I'm wrong here, and the way I explain it to folks that are kind of new to business is that, let's just say for easy numbers, you make $100,000 a year in a job, a W-2. So that means that you don't make 100,000, you really make 70,000, because Uncle Sam takes about 30% or $30,000 before you ever get your paycheck.
That is correct.
Right. But in business, if you have a corporation, then if you made $100,000, you're going to pay your royalties, you're going to pay your staff, you're going to pay rent, all these different things. Then you only pay tax on what's left after all of your liabilities or all the line items, everything that you're paying to run the business.
Correct.
So that's correct, right?
Regardless of whether you're a corporation or not a corporation, even as a proprietor, whether you're running your business as a sole proprietorship, partnership, or a corporation, if you're, keeping track of expenses, I mean, those expenses can always be deducted. The beauty of having that business as a corporation or an LLC is that, for example, corporations are taxed flat at, I believe now it's a 21% tax rate, So again, there's federal taxes and there's state taxes. So it really, really depends on where you live, where you're conducting your business, because some states you don't even have to pay, income taxes,
Yeah.
So there you go.
In the state of Florida, yes.
Exactly. So, I mean, in a nutshell, I would say at the end of the day, one could make a case that as a corporation or an LLC, you would be, saving more taxes. And, as long as your business is profitable and you're making an income, I would say it really behooves you not to set up your business as a corporation or an LLC.
Very cool. Great stuff. So you, aside from helping set up these corporations and LLCs, does your firm also have other things that you can help an owner with?
So we at CorpNet, we're strictly a legal document filing service. We don't engage in legal, tax, or financial advice. However, we are a company that is a one-stop shop when it comes to filing a business, forming a business entity in any of the 50 states, expanding a business entity, setting up payroll tax accounts, sales tax accounts in any of the 50 states. So I would say if you're looking to look for a partner that can assist you with all of your business filings, not only to start your business, but to expand that business and keep that business in compliance, then CorpNet would be your go-to resource in any of the 50 states.
This is great. So for people to find out more about I'm sorry.
It's okay.
To find out about corpnet.com, that's the website they should go to, right?
Yes. So if you want to check out our website, just go to www.corpnet.com and we can assist you in any of the 50 states. If you're looking specifically to set up your franchise, just send us an email to info@corpnet.com. Also, if you're a franchise consultant or if you're a franchisor and you want to utilize CorpNet as a trusted resource for your clientele or for your franchisees, we have an amazing partner program where you can partner with us and offer our services to your clients. You can either partner with us as a white label reseller where you can sell our services to your clients and you would remain as the main point of contact with your clients, and you would basically get the information from your clients, give it to us. We would be the back-end fulfillment resource, and we would sell our services to you at wholesale pricing. Alternatively, if you don't want to be the go-between and you want to just have a trusted resource where you can send your clients to, you can partner up with us as a referral partner where you can refer your clients to us. And for each sale, you would get a referral fee of 20%. Either way, if you go to our website, you can take a look at all of our services, www.corpnet.com. You can also check us out on social. We're all over Facebook, LinkedIn, Google for Business, Twitter, everywhere, Instagram. And you can also pick up the phone and just dial 1-888-449-2638.
So all that information will be on the franchiseacademy.com. So go check it out there and make sure you figure out which kind of corporation and LLC that is going to be best for you and your financial situation, because it will be different for everyone. And that includes, as Nellie said, in your state. That's a big effect on the taxes and the kind of entity you might want to set up. So thank you so much for being on the show. And I just want to say this before we go. We're going to do a series of questions relating to this kind of information that a new business owner needs to know. So I am excited about that. So listen in for future broadcasts with Nellie. And this is just so great. Thank you so much, CorpNet.com. And we will see you soon.
Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to being back here and educating your audience further with anything and everything they need business.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.